Two groups of children playing in the marketplace. One is playing the flute, and they say to the other, "We played the flute and you didn't come and dance with us." And the other group says, "Well, we were mourning and you didn't come and weep with us. You should be our group." "No, you should be our group." Little issue of control. And Jesus said, "Well, same thing happens with adults, not just children. Because along came John the Baptist, and the Pharisees and the Sadducees and the religious establishment said, 'Oh, he's fasting too much. He's too serious.' Along came Jesus, and they said, 'Oh, he's drinking too much. He's eating with sinners.'" Question of control. And the Sadducees and the Pharisees, the religious establishment, wanted to be in control. So what did they do? They made up all sorts of rules and regulations. They said the Jewish people had over 200 different commandments they were supposed to obey, made up by the religious establishment. Not by God, but by the religious establishment. There were over 300 things they were supposed not to do. Control. Religious establishment was afraid to let God be God. That's scary, okay? Think of it. Just let God be God. That can be very scary. So, they put their confidence in their own rules, their own regulations. And that was a yoke upon the people. It pressed them down. Remember when Jesus healed the man on the Sabbath? And they criticized him for doing work on the Sabbath. How terrible. And Jesus said to them, "You have placed burdens on my people. You have loaded them, put them down, and you don't raise a single finger to help them." So today, Jesus has a solution. After talking about the burden and all that the Pharisees have put on the people, how they're just like the kids in the marketplace, what does he say? He says 3 little words. Just simple little words. And yet, what power those words have. What did he say? He said, "Come to me. Come to me." He didn't say, "Come to my truths." He didn't say, "Come to my commandments or my code of conduct." He said, "Come to me." In other words, he invites us to have a personal relationship. Not just a relationship, but a personal relationship. Now, we've got lots of relationships. We're all living in Pennsylvania. We're all Pennsylvanians, right? We don't have a personal relationship with everybody in Pennsylvania. We might belong to a group, some sort of society. Well, we're related, but not personally. But Christ invites us to a personal relationship, to be at one with him, and that he might be one with us. I-thou relationship. And he says, "Come to me, you who are weary and who are carrying burdens." Now, that applies to all of us. We all get weary. We all have burdens to carry. If there's anyone here who doesn't, please introduce yourself to me after the service. I'd love to meet you. Because you're a rarity. In fact, no, okay, you get the point. Come to me. He's talking about a personal relationship. And Personal relationships are very personal. Your relationship with Jesus is your relationship. It's not like any others. I can't tell you what your relationship is like. It's personal. In fact, you probably can't describe it either when you relate personally. It's a relationship that's based on trust. You trust Jesus. And sometimes the relationship really comes forth when the whole bottom falls out of your life and you think you've lost everything and everything's a mess and you're really down in the dumps. And you realize, I don't have anything. And yet I got everything I need. I have everything. I have Jesus. And then there's times when you're on top of the world. You're happy. You're rejoicing. Everything is so wonderful. It's great. It's fantastic. And then you realize this could only come from God. This is too good. That's the high and low of the relationship. It's when sometimes you really grasp and understand and experience the relationship. But it's what Christ calls you to be related to Him. And He says, come to me, take my yoke upon you, and learn from me, for I am gentle. Take my yoke upon you. Well, a yoke is a wooden thing put over the neck of an oxen. And sometimes it's a double yoke. There's 2 oxen with the same yoke. And that's what Jesus is saying. Take my yoke. You are yoked with me. We walk side by side. Together we go through life. Together we pull the plow. Together we pull the wagon. Together we live. Jesus isn't going to do all the work. You've got life to live. You have decisions to make. You have choices to make. You have fun to do. You have all work to do. All these things. But you do it together with Jesus. You are one with Jesus. You relate to Jesus. He is your partner. They say ranchers, when they want to break in a horse, a young horse, they often get an older horse, saddle the older horse up, and they take a rope, put it around the young horses, and then they tie it to the old horse. And the young horse then settles down because it's with another horse. And so it feels comfortable, if you will. Horses are very sociable. And it sees the rancher on the back of the horse. I think the horse kind of figures out, well, it's not killing that horse. I guess it won't kill me either. It learns from being yoked with the other horse. So we learn by being yoked with Christ. As long as we trust Him, we can get about the business of living together with Christ. Oftentimes people say, so-and-so is very religious. You say, well, why are they religious? Well, they go to church every Sunday. Well, they may be religious, they may not be religious. Because they go to church every Sunday doesn't mean they're religious. Someone else might say, well, so-and-so knows the Bible backwards and forwards. Excuse me. They're very religious. They might be, they may not be. Just because you know the Bible doesn't mean you're religious. Religious means you are together with Christ. You have a relationship with Christ. The very word comes from a Latin word, religo, religare, which means to bind together. Religious means you are bound to Christ. You trust Christ. You live together with Christ. You have a personal relationship with Christ. So today, Christ invites us to come to him. Come to me. Pretty soon, we will celebrate the Eucharist, and Christ will come to you in the sacrament of the Eucharist. And as he comes to you in the bread of life and the cup of salvation, he will say to you, come to me. Come to me, you who are weary, you who carry burdens. Come to me, take my yoke, learn from me, for I am gentle. Amen.